Welcome, everyone, to another broadcast of the Judge Hubert Radio Hour on the ArtistFirst Radio Network. All past broadcasts are podcasts. Find them at artistfirst.com. And now your host, judge and author, the Honorable Judge Hubert.
Thank you, Scott, and good evening to all of you out there and listening in the radio land. We are so glad to be with you. It's a chilly evening here in Florida, though we may have be called sunny Florida. Certainly tonight has been very chilly and a little unseasonably so. But nevertheless, we're grateful to be with you. We're excited about the guests that we're going to be talking with tonight. They're special. They're especially close in my respect, and I'm excited about being able to share their wisdom with those of you out there in listening land. It's an honor and a privilege here on this December, the last month of the year. Wow. 2024 seems to have been turbocharged. We have seen it come and we've seen it almost go. So as we get ready to wrap up this last month, we are very excited with our group for tonight. And, I'm going to, in just a moment, I'm going to certainly bring them on. For those of you regular listeners out there, here on the Judge Hubert Radio Hour, we always like to focus upon three categories: law, education, and social justice. And certainly we have two great experts with us this evening that really can cover all three areas. And so we're excited for that interview, and I'll bring them on in just a few minutes. But, what's the purpose behind our show? A dear friend of mine that we always quote, two in particular. One said that education is the key to being and staying free. And while the other one often said, never go to bed as ignorant as you were when you got up this morning. Every day you should learn something new. And so we are excited to be able to share some things tonight that fit both of those profiles. We were, since our last show back in November, we've had an election to occur. And of course, many of us know that the results of the election were definitely different than what many of us expected. And of course, there are things that help us to better understand that the areas that we're talking about now, those three particular areas, are somewhat under attack. But we are being presented with an opportunity to be able to push back against some of those things and to be able to find ourselves being educated and activated so that we will be able to tell our children and our grandchildren that during this time and during this season, when everything seemed to be falling apart, we held firm to our convictions. We held firm to our values. And I'm also reminded of one of my professors that used to say that values control politics. Politics control economics. Economics control technology, and technology controls the future. Well, that's why tonight we've chosen to bring to your listening attention two very special people who I got a chance to get to know some years ago as I was a law professor at the Florida A&M College of Law. And these two young people were my students. And I tell you, they were sharp then, and now they're even sharper. They have refined their skills, their gifts, their techniques, their talents. And so now they're impacting this, not just this Orlando area, but they're impacting the state of Florida and our country as a whole. And so I want to welcome to our call tonight none other than, attorney Audrey Chisholm and her husband, Dr. Juan Chisholm. Welcome, guys. We're so glad that you could be with us tonight.
Thank you so much, Judge. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It is such an honor to be on the call.
Well, I have been watching you guys from afar, and I have seen a lot of the work that you're doing. And so we're going to just sort of bring our listening audience up to speed on, tell us a little bit about your story. And Juan, if you don't mind, as a good alpha man, I know you know that today's Founders Day, so we're gonna give the lady her due. So ladies first. So, and I like to call them by their first name. So I hope that out of no disrespect, because they've earned their titles. But it's because I feel close to them. I feel as if I've been a part of their life story. And so, Audrey, would you tell us about your background first, and then we'll dive into your hubby as well.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much again, Judge, for having us. And good evening to everyone, all of the listeners. Just a little bit about myself. I am the second of four children to my father, who was a naval officer, and my mother, who was primarily a homemaker. And my father, being in the military, we lived in and out of the country. So I moved a lot. And, but always had just a passion for learning and education and a lot of the values that you shared about on the show. And then attended the great Florida State University, where I, also met my husband there, and graduated from FSU. We were just friends at the time, though. Attended Florida A&M College of Law, earned the law degree, and became a practicing attorney. So that's where we are now. Just founder of Chisholm Law Firm, a law firm that helps companies and individuals start and grow nonprofits that impact the world.
And your area is very unique in that you're focused not on the quote-unquote profit-making businesses per se, but you're trying to help people who are set out with a mission, a purpose, other than just making tons of money and squirreling away the profits. So talk a moment about your work with nonprofits.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, Judge. Yeah, we like to see ourselves as, superheroes, our team, because we're doing everything that you said, which is everyday people that have a passion or a mission for something, whether it's a homeless shelter, a school, a hospital, a church, a, foundation, something helping, rescuing animals. I mean, you name it. There's so many different types of charities, and we like to say that, we're that advocate for them to help them take that vision that they have and to turn it into a reality that can actually change lives. And yeah, it's been powerful in the years that we've been in existence. We'll celebrate 15 years next year, but we've been blessed to serve over 9,777 clients with a 100% success rate for our nonprofit filings with the IRS. So we're really proud of that, Judge.
Wow. Boy, time passes quickly. It doesn't seem like it's been 15 years.
Isn't that something?
It keeps marching on. What did I say earlier? It seems like the time is becoming turbocharged and moving more rapidly every day.
Absolutely.
But certainly, Juan, you're the other half of this great team. And talk from your side. How did you and Audrey end up meeting and coming together as you have been?
Okay. Well, I will tell you, I just want to say hello, everyone. Juan Chisholm here. I'm super excited to be here and just share some information about our story and what we're doing. And it's just an honor, Judge Grimes, to just be talking to you. A lot of respect and, of course, happy Founders Day. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, on the north side of Jacksonville. My parents, the late Eugene and Eleanor Chisholm, they really instilled in us about being positive, setting goals, always try to broaden your horizons, and try to use writing as a way of fighting. And that was like a real big theme in the house, always trying to write, to advocate for different issues. I would go on to Gene Ribault Senior High School, graduate from there, attend Florida State University and Tallahassee, Florida. Of course, that's where I met Audrey at, and we were homecoming king and queen. So that's a great thing there. I attended a program at the Harvard Business School in the executive education program. And as you know, I also went to law school at the FAMU College of Law. The areas that I work in right now is I'm a big guy with education. Something interesting about me is I'm a teacher, but I also started a school called American Nation Builders College Preparatory Academy, and then we also have American Nation Builders Christian Academy. The College Preparatory Academy addresses 9th through 12th, and the Christian Academy, of course, is pre-K through 5th, and that one is in Lake City. The College Preparatory Academy is online, and then we also are opening up another American Nation Builders Christian Academy in the Fieldsmere area, which is right by the Melbourne beach area. So I'm really big in education, always try to impact the youth. Something my wife did not talk about, which is awesome, is she was able to start a program called Revolution Leadership almost 20 years ago. And we use that as an opportunity to award scholarships to students to help them go to college, since we really believe in that. and I really advocate for a group that I started around that same time called Young Investors. And let me just step back just in case the viewers want to check some of this stuff out. AmericanNationBuilders.org is the website for the school, and YoungInvestors.org is for the organization, the one I just mentioned, and RevolutionLeadership.org is the one that awards scholarships every April. So those are really big things. And then I think you also may know I also write books. My first book was called How to Make Your Past a Blessing to Your Future. And then I wrote Investitude as my second book. And then the book that has really opened up a lot of doors has been the book called Mission Possible, How to Graduate from College Debt-Free. And that book has won one of the Florida Book Awards, International Book Awards, Paris, France Book Award, London Book Award, about the Pencraft Book Award winner. I mean, it's won about 10-plus book awards. And I also received a Chico Achievement Award, which I'm really proud of, based off of a program I was in called Upward Bound when I was in my high school days. So those are really kind of the things. As you know, Audrey and I, we both went to Florida State University. I did like her, Judge, when we were in college, but we were just friends. And of course, when we both ended up in law school, as you know, we started dating before that, and then we got married. But we did win homecoming king and queen together at Florida State University, and that was just a really incredible time. And we're still making memories with our little family, and it's still special times. So,
and you know, I understand that there are 3 little Chisholms that are also running around to get a lot of your guys' attention.
Hey, actually, we have 4. We have 3 girls. 4. And a little guy. We have our 3 girls. Our oldest is 10, and of course our youngest guy, he's 3. So yeah,
all right,
4 girls, 1 little guy.
Okay, all right, wow. So you guys got. Can I get some of that Geritol or some of that energy somewhere along the way? You guys got to have some special energy going on to be able to manage the family and do all the things that you're doing. Both individually and collectively. So that's amazing. And you represent, for our listening audience, an example of what one can do. One, obviously you got a strong faith in God, but in addition to that, you don't mind putting the work in.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's talk a little more about your respective areas. Audrey was mentioning the fact that she, of course, is dealing with various nonprofits. And for those who want to start, let's just go back to basics for a little bit and talk to our listening audience and sort of explain to them about the difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit, and that you can make money with a nonprofit, but it's not just how you make it, but what you do with it, how you use it. Just talk for a bit and explain that to our people.
Absolutely. The biggest difference between a for-profit and a nonprofit is, like you said earlier, Judge, when you have a for-profit, your goal is simply to, enrich the shareholders, the owners. So you're, out there making money and, the owners are profiting. The difference with a nonprofit is that instead your mission and your aim is what we call a charitable purpose. So you're doing it to make an impact to help other people. So it could be folks that you care about, if you have a passion for the homeless or a passion for rescuing animals or a passion for, domestic violence victims. I mean, there's so many different areas of, ways that you can help people. But either way, that's the goal. But just like you said, nonprofits can also make money. And that's something that people don't realize. You can, again, bring in income, you can charge for services, and you can pay yourself salaries. So I was just quoted in the New York Times for an article about a major nonprofit. And again, one of their officers is making well over $1 million a year in income. So you can get salaries and benefits and all those sorts of things, just like a traditional job. But the difference is at the end of the year, or at the end of the day with the budget, if there's money left over, it's not just divided up amongst the shareholders or the owners. Instead, that money would be reinvested into the organization to further the mission.
Wow. And I think earlier you said that you had that was a huge number that you gave in terms of the particular cases, as we might call it, or organizations that you have assisted since the beginning of your business. So What was that number again?
Yes, sir. 9,777. So we're excited to break 10,000 clients served next year, which will also be our 15-year anniversary.
Wow. No question. That's amazing. Well, and how big is your firm?
Absolutely. Right now, we've got 15 team members.
Wow. It's amazing how you guys have come from that, the hollow walls of FAMU law, and now look at, as we say, look what the Lord has done. That's great.
That's right.
Fantastic. Are there any particular lessons that you would like to share with our listeners in terms of what kinds of things they should be conscious of if they are looking at pursuing the establishment of a nonprofit?
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the biggest things, Judge, would be just letting them know that there is so much funding available, because that's, something that often kind of, holds people back. They're like, one, getting it started, it's going to cost me a lot of money, et cetera. But really, there are very simple ways to, payment plans and, ways to finance it just like any other major purchase that make it affordable for anyone with simple monthly payments. But once you get going, if you have a mission or a passion about something, there are thousands of organizations that are willing to fund it. They are willing to fund that budget so that you can go out and do what you care about and help those people. And I always like to tell people that, at any given point in life, you're on one end of the continuum, right? You might be the person that feels like you don't have a lot of money, but you have the time and the passion to roll up your sleeves and do the work of the charity. But on the other end, there are people with more money than they can handle that are looking for great causes that they can invest those dollars in and donate those dollars in, get a good tax write-off, and know that the impact that they care about is happening. So there's always ways to connect those two. And even with our firm, we have grant writers on staff that are able to then, not only set up the organizations for our clients, but then connect them with funding opportunities so that they can get, have a budget and have support from people that also believe in their vision as well. So those are the biggest things that I want people to know is, one, that it's affordable. It's something that anyone can do with all the easy payment plans out there. Two, that there is funding for you. So if you're not someone that wants to self-fund it or is independently wealthy, there are other people that will give you grants and give you corporate sponsorships to carry out that vision and mission that you have. And then the last thing is it doesn't have to take up all of your time. That's something we tell people as well, that there are so many people that are willing to volunteer and get involved, to help you fulfill that mission. And we help our clients. We point them out to websites and all types of resources where there are literally people posting saying, hey, I want to volunteer. Like, I have free time. I want to help a cause. So we're able to match, great people with these volunteers, with these funding opportunities so that they can realize that vision for sure.
Amazing. Amazing. Are there any unusual, maybe I should say, what do you call maybe the most unusual area of nonprofits that you have seen come to fruition?
Oh, we've definitely seen some unusual ones, because we've done so many. But I always like to share one of the funniest, it was just, like you said, just unusual really, is we helped a group start a church for Star Trek. And that is probably the most unusual one that we've ever worked on.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Going where no man has gone before?
Exactly, yes. And it was actually a really tough case because there are a lot of requirements, when you're doing a religious organization, et cetera. It's not just, having the idea. You've got to really substantiate the basis for the group and, the practices and everything. But, our attorneys really had to put our heads together to get that one approved as not to sacrifice our success rate. But, yeah, that was a really fun one.
Typically, there are those who believe, it says that creating such a not-for-profit, it takes a long time to get your tax status, and it takes years to get approved by IRS. That's not the case with the work that you do.
That is not the case. Now, here's the thing. The answer is, as most lawyers will tell you, it depends, because meaning it just depends on who you go to, right? For our company, since we do so many of these and we've helped so many organizations, we've got clients from everyday folks, teachers, educators, attorneys, lawyers, doctors, et cetera, all the way to we have NFL players we've helped with foundations, a Major League Baseball player, NBA players, politicians, reality TV stars, you name it. So with so many, the volume that we do, thankfully, we've established really good relationships with people, examiners, in the IRS and the USPTO, et cetera. So we've been able to expedite a lot of the cases for our clients, because when they see something with Chisholm Law Firm's name on it, they know, oh, wow, we know these attorneys. We know that they vetted this individual. They've done the work. It's thoughtful. It's right. They've got that great success rate. So a lot of our clients, we've been able to get approvals as quickly as a couple months.
Okay, wow, and that speaks volumes. So before we leave here this evening, I'm definitely going to have you give your contact information out to our listening audience, because I know that there's some people out there who have probably been toying with the idea of wanting to pursue the dream of being a difference maker in their particular community. And so certainly we want to make sure that they know that they got access to the Chisholm Law Firm. Let me shift over to Juan for just a minute. And Juan, as you mentioned, your focus is in the area of education, and
yes,
particularly as it relates to writing as well as teaching. Now, you mentioned that you helped to launch a couple of schools as well, and one that's, I believe, brick and mortar, and one that's online. Talk about that process and what you're doing with that side of the equation.
Okay. Well, initially, we launched American Nation Builders College Preparatory Academy in 2014. Initially, we were in the Eatonville area, and we did have a brick and mortar building that we were leasing at the time. And it was just a great opportunity. We served a lot of kids at the time. And during the pandemic window, we, of course, went virtual, and we started to support more hospital homebound kids who were in a situation where they wanted to attend school, but due to health concerns and sensitivities, they really were looking for a niche school environment, which worked for us because we had voted to, of course, go online. And then in the aftermath of that, we were able to purchase a building in the Lake City area, and we recently did a grand opening for that. I believe that was June or July 2024. So that's the latest one that we've opened, and that is to support elementary level students. And we're now going through that process with that, trying to make since we have the building, we've gone through the process, and just really getting that one off the ground. And then also we've already looked ahead to purchase a building in the Fieldsmere area, Fieldsmere, Florida, which is about 30 minutes from Melbourne Beach, to support some of the students in that area, which should cover the Vero Beach area, the Sebastian area, and I believe the Gilbert area. So we're hoping that will become a great opportunity for those students in the area. So that's been the focus. The process of starting a school is very interesting. You have to go through the state of Florida. The state of Florida does not they don't say that they don't back a school or anything, but they will give you your school number, and from there you can go through a process, your VEX applications and getting those things together. Obviously all your city checks with your health inspection, fire inspection. So it is a long process, but it's something that I really believe in. My father, the late Eugene Chisholm, he was an educator at one point in time in his life. He really believed in education. I grew up in a very fun household where my parents made education fun. It was cool. It was hip, as he used to say. And I try to, be in a situation where we can hopefully give a great experience to maybe somebody who's looking for maybe a niche school, and, someone is excited about learning. So American Nation Builders is, what we do. And as you know, I'm also, I'm a teacher, and I also, run the school. So it's been an exciting journey.
My goodness. I mean, when do you guys sleep? You both are busy. Amazing.
Juan is being very modest over there because he just, of course, opening his own schools, which is incredible, but also just being an award-winning educator. So he's won awards from, Orange County, and, actually recently just won an award for being the educator of the year and with loyalty and commitment to the community. which was a huge event, and a lot of dignitaries in the city were there. Absolutely. So we're really proud of him, and he's doing some incredible things for sure.
Wow. I think that my listening audience can now see why I brought both of you guys on here tonight, because you both are making a difference in the lives of young people. And of course, as you say, helping others who are very interested in trying to achieve their lifelong dreams. There's so many of us that have those desires to want to be difference makers in our communities. And yet there are many people that kind of spin in a circle and wonder, how do I get this done? But you've shown us tonight that it can be done. And you are those resources that can help folks do so. So whether you're talking about creating a not-for-profit on one hand and in that wide range of things, all the way to Star Trek, or whether you're talking about educating young people, we just want to applaud you guys, both of you, for the work that you're doing here throughout this Central Florida area. And of course, again, you're both using your law degrees in some very unique categories. I recall, and I often quote one of my dear friends who used to always say that the law degree is the most versatile degree that one can get, because it will allow you to do pretty much anything that you choose to do. And certainly the non-traditional roles that both of you are pursuing right now, and successfully pursuing, no doubt, is really showing that to be true. What would you tell some of the young people out there who may be thinking about law school, or maybe some of them have never thought about law school as a vehicle to be able to accomplish some of their unique dreams? What would you tell them? And I'll throw that one out there to Juan as the educator and to Audrey as the practitioner.
I will say that having a law degree is probably one of the best degrees. I mean, it is a very interesting process because you definitely learn to read and analyze your material. But I agree, when you have a law degree and you're in a situation where you want to start something, do something, you know how to do it. And in law school, they establish a very good foundation to show you whatever you want to do, you can make it happen. And and that's one of probably the biggest pushes, because a lot of situations and things that I encounter, end of the day, I'm like, hey, I do have a law degree. I can get through this. You know what I mean? And I don't have any problems with any of the material. If I'm reading, something very technical, or if I'm going through something that I'm trying to create. So I think it's the best degree to pursue. What say you, attorney?
I mean, listen, hubby, I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's certainly so diverse, and I would just encourage people to know that there are different areas of law. Because I know for me, at least initially, I always just knew the lawyers that you see on TV, right? The litigators and the folks in the courtroom, and that was literally what I thought of, when it came to law. But there are so many different areas. You can, if you're into sports, you can, be an entertainment attorney, that's a sports agent, or like me, if you care about, charities and helping people make a difference. There is nonprofit law. I mean, there's even an area of law called water law. I mean, there's just so many options out there. So I would just encourage people to just be open and to look into it, to kind of see the options, so that way, even if they don't feel that they have the personality or the charisma and presence to, argue before a judge or do more adversarial proceedings, that there are other ways to still be an attorney, help people with the process that might suit their personality better.
Great. That's great. Now, in terms of how some of the challenges that you all have run into, and how you have used not only your education, but you've also used your faith to be able to overcome some of those challenges. Let's speak to those young people out there. I've also, as one who loves education and loves the law as well, I've used to constantly talk with young people about overcoming the challenges, and sometimes they get really down on themselves and they say, oh, it's not worth it, I can't do it. But yet, here you are, both of you doing some very unique things, and it wasn't all peaches and cream. but you got there nevertheless. So what were some of those challenges that you found yourself having to overcome during the course of your life?
Yes, I can probably speak to one challenge. I think in this season, I know I've gone through the process of losing parents, and obviously we love our parents. Hopefully we value them while they're here. I really appreciated my parents and celebrated them, but I believe having a faith in God. I believe really just knowing your purpose. Bad things will happen, and I think that's a part of life. But I think that it's good to try to focus on maybe what's next. And I think I'm in a season right now where I know some of my friends are also kind of dealing with something like that. But I think it's about, just really, again, having a strong faith and just, again, trying to see the other side. And I think that that's for people in this particular season. For me, I think for some of the young people I encounter on a day-to-day basis, I'm always trying to encourage them to just set goals. Hey, write your goals down, go after them. And also appreciate people when you can. Your parents, your siblings, love on them because you don't want to take that time for granted.
Wow, that's amazing, and it is so true because, as we said, man, the time just is, and I this just came to me, I guess, tonight. I used that phrase that this year has been it's been turbocharged because I remember it was seemingly just a blink of the eye, and we were back in the spring. And then, of course, football season starting back again, and now here we are getting ready to celebrate Christmas and all the other holidays. And it's just amazing how time passes and how we have to make sure that we use the time that's with us and use it to the best of our abilities because, like you say, you have to treasure those moments. They do come, but they also go. Audrey, what would you say from your side? What were some of the challenges that you've had to deal with to get to where you are today?
Judge, I'm looking at the clock saying, how much time do you have? I have so many of them. I would say one of the first big challenges was just even getting accepted into law school. Like, again, I was a top student for most of my life, always a hard worker. I had good grades, good test scores. At FSU, I was, president of the senior class, homecoming queen. I won homecoming court with a really handsome guy. You might know him, Dr. Juan Chisholm.
Okay.
But just very accomplished. And I was excited to, strike out and become an attorney. And I applied to all of these law schools, and I was just ready. Like, man, I'm going to just have all these offers, and it's going to be great. And every single law school that I applied to waitlisted me. And then my alma mater just flat out denied me. And I just remember saying, oh, my goodness, it was like an existential crisis for me because I said, I'm a Christian. And so I prayed about it. I'm like, God, I know you, told me, hey, I'm going to be a lawyer and I'm going to help people. But I did everything I knew to do. Great grades, great test scores, excellent student, all these things. And the schools have not accepted me. What can I do? And so I just remember that was a really low point for me, and I ended up just taking a job. I moved back home after college and just got a job as a receptionist at a law firm. And I remember just feeling like a failure and feeling like nothing was working out and my future was so uncertain. But there was one day when I was at lunch on my lunch break, and I was just kind of praying and talking to God, and I felt like he just, dropped the word in my spirit which said, hey, your circumstances do not determine your destiny. And that just really, encouraged me in that moment to know that I'm like, hey, I'm a receptionist. I have a college degree. And, I didn't have to go to college to answer the phones. I mean, what's going on here? But when I received that word, it was so encouraging where I said, you know what? Okay, I'm going to believe that. And so it just changed everything for me. I changed my attitude. I started showing up at the job in a suit every day. And, I was asking the attorneys if I could work on cases, do extra things outside of answering the phone. I started to, see purpose in my day. Hey, let me learn how this law firm works. Let me learn the business of law, et cetera. And when I changed my attitude and perspective, so many doors opened up. And so then the very next year, I applied for law school, and then every single law school that I applied to accepted me. It was really exciting. But that was just, the first of many setbacks along the journey, so not getting into law school, then being in law school, being a great student, being on law review, all these things, and not passing the bar the first time I took it. Like I had to, take it at like the first time I took the bar, I missed it by like 0.5 of a point, not even a whole point. It was ridiculous. And tried to call them and like, hey, like, can you guys regrade this? Was this a mistake? Nope, that wasn't the case. I mean, that felt like more failure and rejection. But again, learning to get back on the horse, to, be encouraged. My husband was super encouraging at the time. We were married by then. And he was just like, hey, God has a plan. Don't be discouraged. Just keep doing it, and never made me feel bad about it. And got through that. But there were just so many things, even starting the firm, like the first year of running the firm, we had a running joke that I would tell him he had to talk me off the ledge, because I was like, man, I just need to apply for a job. I could be making more, if I was working in fast food. And again, no shade to fast food, because again, it was a struggle to get clients, a struggle to get my name out there and everything, and just had all of these, it just seemed like a really hard path. But even with that, throughout all those things, just not giving up, having faith in God, having faith in myself, sticking with the process, persevering, learning, and growing, it's a completely different story now. We're now, the law firm is a 3-time recipient of the Inc. 5000 award, which recognizes the fastest growing companies in the U.S. And we've won that award 3 years in a row. And again, not even just law firms, out of all U.S. companies. Bill Gates was on that list. Mark Cuban was on that list. Sarah Blakely was on that list. I mean, it's just a huge honor to see the difference. So my encouragement to anyone listening would be that just because something isn't working out right now doesn't mean that it's not destined to work out. You don't have to give up. Failure doesn't mean something's wrong with you or, you're in the wrong place. Instead, failure is just an opportunity to learn, to get feedback, to get better, to grow, and to try again. And that's it. You stick with it. You learn new information, get mentors, read books, be open, be humble, be teachable, be coachable, and really the sky's the limit. So, yeah.
And Judge Grimes, I do want to add one thing to what my wife was just sharing just then. During that season, she had an incredible attitude, an incredible positive attitude about it. Like there would be times where we would be talking about the plans, and she would say, hey, this, I've done this, I've done this, and then she would set some new goals, and she would have such a great attitude about it, and even though things were, we would definitely talk about it, but at the end of the day, she kept setting goals, she kept trusting God, and the results are here. I mean, and there have been times where at this point, I mean, she is, again, one of the top attorneys, Inc. 5000, a ton of other awards and accolades. And I do want to brag on my wife. She was also celebrated as an attorney for a loyalty and commitment award. So kudos to her. I want to just celebrate that success and keep doing what you're doing, beautiful. So just wanted to add those couple of things.
Hey, Audrey, I think he just earned some brownie points there.
Listen, absolutely. Iron sharpens iron, Judge. And that's the thing. And even, listen, we both have to even credit being able to see attorneys like yourself. I mean, I remember seeing you in law school and you being my professor, and they were like, he's a judge. And I was like, oh my, I had never even been in the same room with a judge before, more or less one that looked like me. I mean, that was so inspiring and so powerful. And I mean, we learned you were president of a university, Bethune-Cookman College. I mean, these are just incredible accomplishments. So, folks like you really paved the way to show us, hey, this is what's possible. And you need that, just on this journey, because, again, there are going to be bumps in the road. Sometimes things don't work out, but you need that inspiration, and you can draw that inspiration from everywhere. So, yeah.
It's so, what you just said is so powerful because you made me think back about I finished, of course, law school at the University of Georgia. And at the time, I remember quite vividly that when I took the bar exam, in Georgia, you can take the exam the quarter prior to graduating. And the first time I took the bar exam in Georgia, I punched it. I punched it big time. I knew going in that day, I just didn't, I didn't feel it. And I knew my head was hurting. I had headaches. I think it was stress. I was nervous.
Wow.
But I had also, I know that I had not prepared to the extent that I should have prepared. I was not as focused. But I had someone call me to their office. My advisor called me to the office, and he said to me, he said, Hubert, I want you to go back and take that exam, because he said some of the greatest legal minds in this country did not pass the bar exam the first time. And he started naming names. And of course, I had to give him his credits, because he was the former Secretary of State for the country, none other than former Secretary of State under Kennedy and Johnson, Dean Rusk. And he was my advisor. And he put the energy in my spirit to go back and do it again. And it reminded me of a phrase that my mother used to say, that if at first you don't succeed, keep trying until you do. And I went back, and this time I went back with a different mindset. I said, I'm going to conquer that thing. And if you will remember, many of the things I used to tell our students in class was that if you're willing to put the time, the energy, the effort in, if you're willing to take the practice questions, even if you're willing to be ready to take as many as, if need be, up to 5,000 practice questions, I guarantee you, if you'll do what you have to do, that you'll get the results that you set out to achieve. And I can tell you from that experience that when I went back the second time, not only was I fortunate enough to pass the exam, but I also scored at a high enough level that I was able to, at that time, transfer my MBE scores from Georgia into Florida. So I did not have to take the MBE when I came to Florida. And all of that went on to the same thing that I was trying to share in class many times, was that, you put the work in, but starts off with having faith in God and having faith in yourself. And if you'll do those things, you'll definitely, and you will accomplish that. And I hope that those of you that are out there in listening land will also take that to heart, because all of us set out on this journey called life, and we have things that we want to do. But many times we don't get it done the first time around. But if you don't give up, you can definitely accomplish it. And I'm looking at two wonderful individuals whose testimony speaks to that here with us tonight.
Absolutely, Judge. I love that so much. And it is. Life is a journey. It's a process. And thank you for sharing your story, because it just encourages and inspires so many people. And again, like, failure a lot of times is a learning opportunity, like you shared, because even for me, once I was able to, step back and look at everything, like, man, that 0.5 of a point that I missed. But when I was honest with myself, I was like, you know what? But I hadn't prepared. I had taken it for granted, and I was really smart and had gotten good grades and all this, and just assumed it was more of a rubber stamp. I mean, I fell asleep during the exam. So, it just, I know, that's sad to say, but yeah, so that was an opportunity to say, hey, be better, do better. And the time that I did pass, the same thing. I had a totally different attitude. I was focused. I trained and, studied during the hours to, condition my body for the long period of time sitting in the chair and everything, and blew it out the water. So when you're open, that adversity can, really show you just an opportunity, a way to grow, a way to improve, et cetera. Yeah.
You guys got, as you said earlier, you got 4 kids, and I got a feeling that you all are pouring into them those same lessons of life, so that they too can see themselves as successful, because they're looking at their parents who are successful, and their parents are not only doing it and sort of, you're showing them by your example what can be done.
Thank you.
That's great. That's great. Well, boy, this time is moving fast here tonight, but it's there are moments here that certainly I know will resonate with our listening audience, that they'll be able to get the energy that they seek to be able to pursue their dreams as well. So may I ask, what's next on the horizon for the two of you?
I'll tell you, we are going in our 18th year of marriage, and we plan on renewing our vows year 20. So that's pretty exciting for us on a personal note.
Okay, fantastic. Well, congratulations in advance.
Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, I know that, Juan, you tell us a little more about your recent book, the one that is a bestseller and on multiple bestseller lists, Mission Possible. What is that all about?
It's called Mission Possible, How to Graduate from College Debt-Free. It's basically a book that tells people how to get money for college tuition, college books, and also, your college tuition. And I try to make it very practical and easy to read for people. And the book has done, well, because it's won about 10 book awards. And plus, I received the Trio Achievement Award. I'm so honored and excited about the things that have been happening with the book. And, Audrey and I, we both have stories of going to college and graduating debt-free, and that's from undergrad, that's from, graduate school, and everything. So, and since I'm always around students, I'm always trying to share these principles and these tips. And, I wrote the book during the pandemic window because I still have my ear to schools and working with students. So I'm always sharing, hey, here's how to do things. But I was able to just, again, put it in book format for people as a way just to kind of say, hey, I want this to be my legacy if something were to happen. Also to honor my parents who passed away. And I said, hey, I'm going to share the stories. I'm going to share the things. I'm going to give some great information. I'm going to put everything I know into it. And boom, the book has done very well. Very well.
That's great. That's great. Now, Audrey, you also have a book.
Well, Judge, before we move to that, I was going to say that is an understatement. Juan is being super modest about it's done very well. I mean, not only has it won 10-plus book awards, which I have been honored to go to those events and see him recognized amongst really established authors. I mean, these are awards that, Amy Tan and other well-respected authors have won, and he's been in the same room there. But his book has now been inducted in the Governor's Mansion in Tallahassee, Florida, as a part of the permanent collection there, in the Strozier Library collection as well. It's just remarkable. And in addition to that, just opening up all of these phenomenal opportunities for him to speak at major schools throughout the U.S. to audiences of hundreds of people, sharing these principles. I read the book myself, and I just chuckled. I was like, this is the book I wish had been around when I was figuring out how to get through college debt-free from trial and error. But he's just spelled it out in such a great way. And again, it's something that has been remarkable to see that impact and how he's furthering that shared, passion that we both have as far as, breaking barriers and opening up, equal access to education for everyone. And it's really commendable.
That's great. That's great. Wow. See, we got such a powerful couple here tonight, folks. So you're getting two for the price of one right here, right now. And also, Audrey, not to forget about you. You also have a book, I believe, that talks about nonprofit, obtaining a nonprofit, starting a nonprofit.
Yes,
what's the name of your book? What's the name of your book?
Yes, sir. It's called Start a 501c3 Nonprofit That Doesn't Ruin Your Life. And it's a great book so far. We're really fortunate that so many people has almost 900 5-star reviews on Amazon, and typically on any given day, it's the number one best-selling book in the nonprofit leadership and management category on Amazon. And so the subtitle of it is just how to legally structure your nonprofit to avoid IRS trouble, lawsuits, financial scandals, and more.
All right. Very good. Very good. Well, folks, you have heard so much by my friends here tonight, and let's talk about how do they get in contact with you guys so that if they have an interest in wanting to get with a law firm to help start a nonprofit, Audrey, how would they get in contact with you?
Absolutely. Well, I've got something even better for you, Judge, for your audience. Again, so thankful and appreciative for this opportunity that we have just a special link that any of your listeners can go to. And that book that I just shared, if you go on Amazon, it is $23 plus shipping. So it's, that's what you have to pay to get it. But for any of your listeners that are listening to this program today, they can go to this site and get a paperback copy free of charge. All they have to do is pay for shipping. So that site is just www.starta501 c3nonprofit.com. Again, start a 501c3nonprofit.com. And just go to that site. Again, a real paperback copy, all 225 pages plus, over $2,000 worth of free legal advice in there. The book completely free of charge, just pay shipping. So that's for you, Judge Brown.
Fantastic. Oh, well, thank you so very much. And I know my listeners will be excited about the fact that they're going to leave here not only having heard the verbal conversation tonight, but be able to get a resource that they can utilize as they move forward. And of course, if they would like to do the follow-up, I know that your contact information will probably be in the book. But in addition to that, tell us you're on social media, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. On all the social media platforms, you can follow me at Audrey K. Chisholm. So that's AUDREY, middle initial K, Chisholm, CHISHOLM. On all the major platforms, so Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, formerly known as Twitter. You got it. So that's on all the platforms. And of course, our major homepage for the law firm is just chisholmfirm.com, CHISHOLM, firm, FIRM.com.
All right. And are you going to also be joining Blue Sky as one of the newest social media links?
We'll just have to see.
We'll have to see. Okay. Okay. All right. And Juan, what about you? What's your contact information?
Sure. I want to say this. If people are interested in getting Mission Possible, How to Graduate from College Debt Free, are any of the books, you can get it from Amazon. But I know on a website, which is www.green, GREEN, light, LIGHT, books with a S, BOOKS.org. There is a cyber sale from Black Friday to get the book for less. So that is the website, www.greenlightbooks.org. I can also be reached if anyone is ever interested in learning more about American Nation Builders. They can look up the website, which is www.americannationbuilders with a S.org. That's American Nation Builders with a S.org. I'm also on all of the social media things, Facebook, Instagram, I believe Twitter, X. And I go under my name, which is Juan, Juan, Chisholm, Chisholm. I believe it's at Juan, Juan Chisholm, Chisholm on Instagram. Hopefully I can connect and be a resource to someone who may need some assistance.
All right. Fantastic. Well, I tell you, man, we have truly, truly appreciated this interview here tonight. But before we wrap up, any final comments from, we'll dive in with Audrey. Audrey, any final comments from you?
Well, Judge Grimes, I just wanted to say thank you so much again for this opportunity and creating just such a positive platform for people to learn and grow and be inspired. I mean, for someone as accomplished as yourself, you could be doing anything with your time or just, planning to go to the golf course tomorrow or anything else. But the fact that since we've known you and to this day, you are still pouring into others, investing into others, that means so much. So absolutely, if there's ever anything we can do to help you in that mission as well, you can count on us.
Well, we certainly appreciate your kind words there, and I take it to heart. And so, likewise, Juan, you get the final.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure I say one more thing about my wife, and I'm looking to see if she even mentioned it. My wife, she did write a book called Super CEO Girls. It's an amazing, inspiring story to support girls in business. Super CEO Girls, she didn't talk about it, but she wrote several their comic books, their cartoon characters. This is something that she's been excited about. It's been her brainchild. She would say if she wants to get in a good place, she wanted to write this particular book. I was hoping that she could at least first throw out that website for the Super CEO Girls.
Oh, thanks, baby. I appreciate it. Yeah, the website is just superceogirls with an S on the end.com. and it's a 10-book series, children's book series for ages 4 to 10, which just makes, business and empowerment in a kid-friendly way. So thank you, baby.
All right.
Yep, and I was just saying, it's an honor. Judge Grimes, you've always been the representation that we needed. I still remember meeting you at the law school and being blown away by who you are and what you represented. And to this day, we, of course, follow your story. Everything you do, we do know about. So thank you for just being a trailblazer for us. And I'm just honored and grateful that we had this time with you and your listeners.
Well,
thank you.
Wow. Well, thank you. Well, my if I may say that my hope is that you guys will continue to soar to higher heights, and that you'll continue to influence not just the hundreds and the thousands, but the millions of people throughout the world. So God bless each of you. Thank you for being with us tonight. And with that being said, we're going to wrap up and turn this thing back over to our engineer. So God bless each and every one of you. We also want to wish you a Merry Christmas as well as Happy Holidays throughout. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, and the best is yet to come.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.